in 2008, generally the notion of helping to pay for where government users vacate bands could be very useful for getting them to more quickly clear the bands. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Anyone else who wants the floor? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Alexander List, representing the Open Spectrum Alliance. We are an NGO formed in May 2009 in Vienna, Austria, and basically founded by a group of individuals engaged in radio spectrum policy reform efforts and in the creation of community networks. So we support the Commission's notion and commitment to applying the least burdensome regulatory access to spectrum and its preference for general authorizations rather than exclusive rights. Why? Spectrum policy, as it's happening now, is still based on the assumption that one frequency can only be used by one user at a time. This is from the 1920s. We have to look forward. We can have spatial diversity, we can have temporal diversity. I think this is the most important point to mention. The US National Broadband Plan was referred several times in this meeting. And, well, if the US want to be number one, if the EU wants to be number one, we have to go beyond the US goals, right? I think what's really important to matter, nobody will question the importance of television and radio for cultural diversity. But as mentioned before by Andrew Sterling, there are other means of communication, other means of transport for the media, like the internet. Communication usage patterns and media consumption patterns are changing. I mean, not necessarily, don't want necessarily to watch or listen to something when the broadcaster decides to air it. I can download a podcast from the Austrian National Broadcaster to my iPhone and listen to it or watch it while I'm commuting at the time that's convenient for me. So I think let's not underestimate the utility of the internet for conveying content. One last point, we should see the bigger picture, not only spectrum, but also fiber in urban areas. I think you can help here to roll out fiber, because that's the only medium that can transport almost unlimited capacity. And we should also not forget that there is an end to what the market can do. There are municipal initiatives in rural areas where no operator deploys anything because it just doesn't make sense from a business point of view. So we should support municipal local initiatives that do wireless stuff with unlicensed spectrum and also fiber. I've seen a small village in Austria in the mountains. They did fiber to the home to 40 households with EU support. I think that's a very good example that the EU can help also in these niches. We have a policy paper for this summit, so you can go to openspectrum.eu, and there are also some copies over there at the entrance. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I would like to implement a culture of switching out the mobile phones during a meeting. That would be nice. Now, I don't have anyone else on my list, but I would like maybe our panel participants here to make some closing remarks. Yes. Let's start eventually by Mr. Defrain. You don't want the floor? Okay, we proceed to Mr. Van Nistelrooy.
Just to come back to our new agenda, EU 2020 European Commission has put it on the table. It should help us to give answers to the questions that has been said. How is our CO2 effect of all those kind of things? We should turn it around and say, without use of these new possibilities, you can never make this smarter, greener economy. We decided that after Copenhagen, maybe we have to rethink our agenda. But the solution is, in a very, very big part, coming from new media, making people independent in their actions, wherever you are, always possible to intervene and to take your responsibilities. And, for instance, smart metering and those kind of things are upcoming. And so I see it as a necessary instrument to reach our goals that we have formulated. And on the outcome of this summit, I think that that we took a great responsibility to do that together with the member states, because in the past, in the last period, when Commissioner Reding brought her ideas about using the additional possibilities of spectrum, it was in fact killed in the beginning of the debate. And I think we should not spend and spoil this possibility once more. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Viola?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I think we heard many comments, and I think for RSPG we have a lot of good inputs and ideas to discuss this afternoon when we will have our plenary. I think to many people intervening, highlighting the importance of various applications and various possibilities the spectrum offers, we can reassure them that we will consider all of the aspects in our opinion, and that's our goal. For instance, in the first pillar of our opinion, we will address the issue of greener economy and the contribution that efficient use of spectrum can do in that respect. And in that respect, for instance, satellite technology is the greenest technology we know, so the satellite community will be considered in our opinion. Concerning the interference and the efficient use of spectrum and the use of spectrum for transportation, we are well aware of the issues that are at stake, and my colleague Mike Byrne is really active, I mean, and his group are active working on various of those aspects, and other colleagues as well. One point I like to stress, I said it in my previous intervention, but